evening, Graham Rawlins with our Friday edition of News Geelong. With executive producers, former Aussie rules greats Glenn Archer and Sam Kekovich, the motion picture Blinder, currently being filmed on location at the Spring Creek Reserve in Torquay, will certainly live up to its name. The Geelong Food and Wine Festival was a perfect place for Otway tourism to market our wonderful region for hundreds of visitors last weekend. And from the world of Geelong sport, Mitch Scoop Cleary updates us with the latest, including a conversation with Geelong VFL player Andrew McLean. While from the weather world, we'll update you on the Geelong and Surf Coast area weather expected over the next 6 days. The annual flagship event for Barwon Water is its Sustainable Home and Garden Expo, held down at the Geelong waterfront in the Steam Packet Gardens. News Geelong spoke with City of Greater Geelong Deputy Mayor Cameron Granger following the opening ceremony.
This is a fantastic event. Just sat through Rob Gell's presentation, which just a real eye-opener in terms of what we should be doing in the world of sustainability and water usage. So great that Barwon Water's put this on. This is a fantastic initiative for Geelong. It's free for people to come down and understand, what they can do in their own houses, in their own backyards to actually reduce their energy consumption and their water consumption.
We've been very conscious of sustainability. Now, I can recall an interview we did with you out at Lara with the water coming through from the prison to do the water the Elko golf course. So, I mean, that's extending. We're continuing to extend our resources.
Absolutely. Look, Geelong is a leader in this area in terms of local government, but we are still a long way behind the 8 ball. That's been a message that's very clear to me today. And there are things we can do as a city to better our sustainability practices. That was one of them in terms of reuse of water, but even things like double glazing or certain types of insulation. The city should look very hard now at sort of mandating these things in any buildings that happen in the city. So that's a clear message I've got that I'll take back to my fellow councillors, and we'll look to get Rob Gell down to actually brief the councillors because, as I say, it was a true eye-opener.
Because those sustainability items, when in an era when we're talking about consumers and increasing prices in services such as electricity and gas, etc., are saving devices.
That's right. And the carbon tax, it's a big debate in Australia, and it is actually literally designed to get all of those costs, to get you to get all of the consumption in those areas down. So whilst it is going to be a bit, I suppose, what did Maggie Thatcher say, the medicine might be a bit sour, but, we need to take it. Thank you, Cameron.
Blinder is the first AFL film made in 30 years to properly explore our country's love affair with the greatest sport in the world. Debbie Meaney has more.
Blinder, the movie, is set to blind us with its acting, its directing, and it's being shot here around the Bellarine, particularly in Torquay. Mike Gillespie is a producer, and I caught up with him here as they were shooting one of their films. Blinder is a nice feel-good story and also involves AFL, which haven't had a story like that for 30 years, I believe.
Yeah, it seems like Australia's been waiting for, being from the States. I'm used to, NFL and American football. I played football in the States, and I've been, introduced to this sport from the director and fell in love with it, and we decided to shoot the movie down here, and here we go, and it's been, 3 weeks into it, and it's been going great.
And can you tell me a little bit about the synopsis of the movie?
So it's about a guy who plays for the Torquay Tigers in 2002 and 2003. There's a scandal that happens, makes him flee and go to the States, and that's where he realizes that his coach passes away 10 years later, and he has to come back and pretty much face, the reasons why he left and be reintroduced to old friends and family, and there's a lot of footy in it. So.
And it's also about communities coming together and that aspect as well.
Yeah, well, it's kind of like, friends growing up in a small town, growing up together, playing on a team together, and just, being all best friends. And then one night something happens that tears the friendship apart, and you don't see each other for 10 years. And it's about, coming back together and how to fix problems that happened in the past.
And you've got high hopes for this movie. Can you tell me about what the plans are once you've finished post-production?
So we're looking to get some wide distribution, especially here in Australia where the sport's so large, and then, take it to the festivals in the States, play the festival circuit, and hopefully introduce the world to, Aussie rules football.
Okay. You're sounding a little bit hesitant there on your plans. What I'm reading sounds a little bit more involved than that.
As far as what?
A viewing audience and taking it to the cinemas.
Well, yeah, it's going to have a release here in Australia wide, and then, you know, with a movie like this, especially an independent feature, you would have to play festival circuit and get distributors and actually get a different audience. And the fact that the States and other countries don't know Aussie rules football, it's a little more difficult, but because of, you know, the actors we have involved and the way the movie's coming together, we think we can reach these audiences. But here in Australia, we'll have it in theaters and it'll be more of a wide release here. And then you hope for the best overseas, which we think will be the best, and hopefully have a wide release there as well.
At the home of Torquay Tigers, at the set of Blinder, this is Debbie Meaney for News Geelong.
Thank you, Debbie. The Geelong Food and Wine Festival was another great success, with many local exhibitors taking the opportunity to show their wares. News Geelong spoke with well-known Geelong identity Paul Gundry about Austin wines. A great show at the Food and Wine Festival, Paul.
It is. It's turning out really well. Good weather. It's finally clearing up. It's doing well.
And the 6'6" name in Geelong is synonymous and a great wine.
It is. It is synonymous. It's coming along quite nicely. Named after iconic William Buckley. They're doing well.
And of course the Austin name, very well known in Geelong, of course, in many different ways for their great contributions to the community through Cotton On and many other various foundations.
Certainly, they're a big founder of Cotton On and in Redpath Foundation. They've been around 30 years, the winery, so doing good things for the community.
What sort of drop do you enjoy, the red or the white?
I'm a bit partial to the Austin Shiraz, to be honest, with a nice steak.
With a nice steak.
Yes.
And of course with the local wine, all locally produced?
All locally produced, yes, right out in our vineyards.
And for Geelong people, the vineyards are located?
On Stiglitz Road, just outside Russell's Bridge.
A wonderful area. We used to go as kids down at Russell's Bridge having a swim, but now well and truly developed and offers a great amount of employment for people in Geelong as well.
It certainly does. Great employment opportunities around the area.
And where did the name 6'6" come from, do you know?
I believe it was founded through William Buckley, the iconic Geelong man who disappeared and lived with the Aboriginals for a certain amount of time and was founded one day, coming out amongst the wilderness, this ginormous man, 6'6" tall, so iconic around Geelong.
Thank you, Paul. As we go to a break on this midweek edition of News Geelong, don't forget you can Twitter us on our Twitter account at NewsGeelong31 with your thoughts and comments. We'll return with more news after this.